Good morning. It is a beautiful day here in North Carolina. And today I'm going to take you through the steps I take when I want to edit a photo. So come along and enjoy this adventure. Okay, so this is the image I want to edit. And the reason why I like this image is because the hummingbird's eyes and head and neck are in focus and everything else out of focus. Now there are some major problems with this image. The background is just overexposed. This bird feeder is just hideous. So the first thing I want to do is I want to crop this image here. I'm in Adobe Lightroom, I'm in the develop module, and I'm going to go to the cropping tool here. This is going to be an 11 by 14 image, so I'm going to select 11 by 14 as my ratio. I'm going to just select that down here so I get to the point where I want it. So basically what I want is I want this bird all the way over to the left side of this image here. And I want the bottom wing to almost touch the bottom of the image. And I want the top of the image to have a space in there. I want an uneven bird in there. I want it all the way over to the left, but I want it to be uneven because I want the viewer to see the action, to feel the drama of the image. So I'm just going to select enter here, and that looks pretty good here. So the first thing I always do whenever I work on an image is I denoise and I sharpen it. So I'm going to select the detail over here on the left hand side, and the first thing I'm going to do is apply a mask. Holding down the Alt key, I'm going to slide the masking tool over. Now when you start out, it's all white. That means everything the sharpening and denoising will be applied to. We don't want that. We only want to apply to the bird itself. So I'm going to slide that cursor over, the slider over, until basically just the bird is selected. That's about where I want it to be. And now I'm just going to slide the detail over a little bit here, the amount over a little bit, and the radius. I just want to add a sharpening to it. I did shoot, if you look up here, I did shoot this image at 20,000 ISO at 250 millimeters, and that gave me a shutter speed of 1/2000th of a second. So now that I've applied the sharpening to it, I'm going to apply some denoising to it. As you can see, the image is pretty noisy here. So I'm just going to grab this Loomis button and just slide it over till I get right about there. I'm going to slide the detail over, and I'm going to slide the content over. And I'm just going to do a little bit of this here, and that made a dramatic difference here. So that's all the sharpening denoising I'm going to do. And if you do it this way here, you don't have to have a GPU to run the denoising tool. You can just move the sliders yourself. It may be a little bit slower than this, but this is how it works. The next thing I want to do is this bird feeder and pole are just hideous here. So I'm going to select the removal tool here, and it's going to give me a brush. Now I'm only going to select parts of this image here. I want all the bird feeder to be selected in one image. If you don't select the whole bird feeder, what it's going to try and do when you go to remove it is the parts that you didn't remove, it's going to see if it can fix that. So all the bird feeder is selected, and as you can see, some of it was not selected. I don't know why that happened. So I'm going to just select all of it, and I'm going to select subtract and remove. And now the AI is going to select the hummingbird feeder there and just remove it. And it does a pretty good job of it. Here it did an excellent job of it. The next thing I want to do is remove this pole here. So I'm just going to select the pole here, and I'm just going to remove that too. Subtract, make sure the whole pole is selected, remove, and the AI is just going to work there. Now, I want to warn you, if you don't have a GPU in your computer, this is going to be a lot slower. This could take minutes to do this. Using a GPU to do this, it takes literally seconds here. So as you can see, I've removed that hideous bird feeder, and now the bird is in the image by itself, and now it's a much more dramatic image here. But we still have some basic image here. The background's still overexposed, and the bird is kind of not there. So I'm going to go to basic here, and I'm just going to apply some edits here. So the first thing I'm going to do is change my white balance to daylight, and that made a big difference to the image here. So I'm just going to creep down the exposure. Now I'm making global changes to this image here, and you might be saying, well, you don't want the hummingbird to get too dark. I'm going to up the shadows a little bit, bring the white balance down, and I'm going to bring over the black a little bit here. I want to bring down that image in the background here, and I'm going to bring the texture up just a tiny bit here. Okay, that looks incredibly different. Now I'm only looking at the background here, and you can see it makes a big difference. The hummingbird is just hideous now, and I can't adjust the image globally to be able to get the hummingbird right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a masking tool. So I'm going to go over here to select mask, and I'm going to select mask and select the subject. And what's going to happen is the AI is going to try to identify the hummingbird here. And it does a pretty good job here. Sometimes you have to add and subtract to it, but in this situation, it's done a pretty good job of selecting it. And as you can see, I have a gray box here that's marked mask 1, which is what I call this mask. I'm actually going to right click on it, select rename, and I'm going to call it hummingbird, because that's what it is. And that way there, if I ever come back to this image and I'm curious as to what the mask is, if I'm looking at this little image here, I may not remember what it is. So I'm just going to bring the exposure up. I'm going to bring the contrast down. That's way too much. Highlights up a little bit. The shadows, I'm going to bring those down a little bit more. White balance up a little bit. And I'm going to bring the blacks down a little bit. Okay, and I'm just going to add a little saturation to this image here, and that's all I'm going to do to this image here. I'm not going to do anything more to this image here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you the before and after image here. Well, I am ecstatic at the way this came out. This is a really dramatic image here. This is an image that I would hang in a place where birders would go. I think they'd be very impressed with it. I think the average person would look at the image and not be terribly impressed by it, but I think somebody that's a birder would be very impressed with it. I am extremely happy with it. I printed on a semi-glossy pieces of paper, and I think with a like an olive green or a light green matte in a very dark frame, this image would just pop off the page and it'd be very dramatic. So I'm hoping you got something out of this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to this channel because that really helps us in the YouTube world. If you got a Patreon supporter, your support allows us to keep doing this. My name is Leahy, and thank you for watching.